Okay, Bucnover episode 35. We've got our daily overs at 16, 18, and 3. Season win totals at 16 out of 65. Game 1, Pirates Cardinals over under at 8.5. The Apple TV Plus special game Friday night. And we got Wainwrighted yet again. Zach Thompson looked pooped after 5 innings. And what is up with these lineups? Unreal. All of that and more on this episode of The Bucnover. All right, Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, kind of a miss. It's not, the quality's fine, and I like the little stats they put up, that's all fine. The announcers are meant for a more general audience, and I think they talk too much. Personal opinion. I'm fighting a cold, clearly, but, on this podcast, we still like two things. We like runs, and we like Pirates wins. So let's get into the recap for today's game. Top first, Zach Thompson on the bump. First and third, Arenado flies out. There's some confusion on the base pass. Get the wrong guy into a pickle. That allows Edman to score. But they do get the guy going from first to second. So the double play. It's 1-0 St. Louis. Wainwright just continues to do Wainwright things. He had 36, 37 scoreless innings against the Pirates. And he just doesn't lose. I think they said at the end, he just dominates. It's the curveball. I don't know. He fools it's the mental game is what it is. So I don't think he has necessarily anything that's overpowering, but that curveball is something else. Zach Thompson goes 80 pitches. They pull him. He looks pooped. We'll get into more of that later. But in the top 6, you bring in Hembree. Oh boy. Hembree gets out. They pull Hembree as fast as he came in. 12 pitches. He got 1 out, 1 walk, and 1 hit. And as soon as they got that hit, they yanked him. Good on Shelton for having a short leash on him. You got to let him pitch a little bit to try to work out whatever it is, but I just don't think he's got it. He might be done soon. Anthony Banda in. Carlson singles. That scored Arenado, made it 2-0. Molina singled, scoring Yepez and Gorman, who's made his debut and got a hit. 4-0. Harrison Bader singles. That scored Carlson. 5-0. So you went from a manageable game, 1-0, let's say maybe 2-0, even 4-0. And you just bullpen craps the bed. Bottom of the 7th, they maybe left Wainwright in 1 inning too many, because Chavis takes him deep to left field. 5-1 Pirates. That was Chavis' 4th on the year. And that's kind of what you see the other side of it. Maybe leaving a pitcher in too long. Sometimes they leave mistake pitches that people, if Pirates can take advantage of a home run like that, certainly the Cardinals can. And we'll get into the Cardinals lineup later on. In the bottom of the 8th, though, that's when the Pirates train pulls into the station. Castro reaches on a throwing error by Arenado, who always gets a little nervous watching Ke'Bryan Hayes play third base. So he always seems to have errors. Ben Gamel singles, Ke'Bryan Hayes singles, Reynolds singles, scoring Castro, and on that Hayes single, good on the third base coach, not forcing it, just keep the train moving. Station to station. So Reynolds singles, got a hit with the runners in scoring position, that scored Castro, made it 5-2. But this is why when you have Yoshi Tsutsugo and Josh Van Meter in your 4-5 hole, it drives people crazy. Because you have the bases loaded, and you have maybe your 2 worst hitters in the 4 and the 5 spot. Doesn't make any sense. Yoshi gets a fielder's choice, so it's 5-3. And then they bring in Giovanni Gallegos, and he locks up Diego and Chavis. By lock up, through that high breaking ball, and it just hit the top of the zone and they buckled. But, he's a good pitcher. So good, in fact, he got the last 5 outs on 5 strikeouts. So that's the final. 5-3. We got hooked on the 8.5. Pirates lose. Someone's car alarm's going off. Just another Wainwright game. They did break the 37-inning streak, scoreless streak against Adam Wainwright. But when you have a pitcher like Wainwright and you have him on the ropes, you got a couple guys on. 5th inning, Castro, he got on, stole second. Gamble walked. That's really distracting, that honking. Gamble walks, so you have first and second. That brings up Hayes, your franchise player, your number 1 guy. And then Castro tries to steal third and gets thrown out by Yadier Molina. Great play by Arenado and Molina to get him out, but I don't think you test Molina's arm twice. You got him once on second base, that's fine, but to go to third against Molina's arm, that's a little bit too much. Can't be doing that stuff with 2 outs, especially when your offense has been struggling, and let alone against Wainwright, who just dominates the Pirates. Hembree is another miserable outing. I think he stinks. It might be time for him to go. In June, a lot of these players that you see will be gone. DeYoung, Beatty, and Stratton all did fine. Solid outing by them. Another May start for Zach Thompson. Another, very solid, very good start. I mean, he dropped his ERA, which was in the 9.5s. It's now in the 4.8s, and that was 3 starts. So good on him to bounce back in May. He figured something out, but I think he needs to figure out some kind of conditioning. Because those 3 starts, he looked absolutely gassed after 80 pitches. And maybe maybe he's not holding anything back, and that's why he's pitching better. Because instead of giving, 90 to 100 pitches and a handful of them are half-assed, he's given 80 full-bore pitches. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going through his head. But to me, it looks like he needs to figure out how to build that stamina up a little bit. Because Pirates could have used him for another 15, 20 pitches. Another 1 more inning. The offense, outside of the big 4, the Mendoza boys, Yoshi, Josh, Perez, and Jack, they're all in the 150 to 170 range. Offense outside of those guys, fine. Reynolds got a hit with the runners in scoring position. Hayes is still hitting the ball hard. He had a single that could have been a double if he just finds a gap. He's still hitting the ball hard just right at people, and that's going to work itself out, you hope. Gamble with a couple walks. Of course, Michael Chavis hit the home run. At this point, we're just trying to get to June. Guys like Mason Martin, who hit another home run today, they can arrive and develop at the major leagues. You're starting to see people call, the Cardinals just called 2 people up, who we'll see one of them tomorrow. And speaking of the Cardinals, I kind of want to look at their lineup for today. Because the Pirates, like I mentioned, had 4 batters. Tsutsugo and Van Meter both batting 162. Michael Perez batting 143. And Jack Zawinski 176. And I don't, Zawinski's a AA player. Filling in. Marisnik's injured. He's going to struggle. He'll go up and down. So whatever. We'll give him a pass. Michael Perez. Roberto Perez got injured. Andrew Knapp stinks, I guess. So Michael Perez, he's going to be a guy. Catcher's going to be a very weak spot this year. So whatever. Yoshi and Van Meter, though, when you have depth at second base and you have a DH like, Vogelback, and, Mason Martin waiting, and Yoshi's on the first train out of here as soon as Mason Martin gets called up. But you go to the Cardinals batting order. Outside of Pujols, who's 100 years old, batting 228. Corey Dickerson, former Pirate, batting 185. Your lowest batting average, and rightfully in the 9th spot, not batting cleanup, is Harrison Bader at 240. He had 240, 243, 250, 290, 270, 327, 289, 328. Well, Gorman's 333. That's because he just played today. But yeah, I mean, that's the difference between a good team like the Cardinals and a struggling team like the Pirates, is you don't have batters who you're starting in the 4th and 5th holes batting 160. Those guys need to be in the bottom of the order. I don't care what analytics or whatever they're looking at. It's just bad. Another Wainwright. Won't see him again till June probably. They have a 4-game set in the middle of June. Looking forward to that, of course. All right, let's go around the league a little bit. Diamondbacks absolutely handled the Cubs in Wrigley 10-6. They had 7 home runs against the Cubs. Diamondbacks are no slouch. Josh Rojas hit his first home runs of the year, all 3 of them. He had 3 home runs today. You just never know where it can come from. Keeping an eye on the Rays and the Orioles, which are now in the top of the 13th. It's 7-6. Orioles can squeak that out. Bad team's doing well. Rangers Astros had a funky play. The other Apple TV game of the day. Rangers beat the Astros 3-0, so we'll look out for them tomorrow. Brewers handle the Nationals 7-0 as they should. Jose Ramirez continues Drake's, had a monster 3-run home run. And the Blue Jays played the Reds close 2-1. Dodgers Phillies 4-1. Braves Marlins. A lot of good games this weekend. Braves Marlins pretty close. Padres Giants. Angels Athletics 2-1. A lot of good games this weekend. Twins Royals, Cardinals Pirates. Game 2 tomorrow. Our daily overs are at 16, 19, and 3. Season win total still at 16 out of 65. Games back on regular AT&T Sports Net. Over-unders at 8.5. We got Jose Quintana, The Rock. The solid foundation of this pitching staff tomorrow against Matthew Liberatore, making his Major League debut. What could go wrong? Lots could go wrong. But we'll be back tomorrow recapping this and so much more on the Bucnover. Enjoying the Bucnover content? Be sure to follow me over at Twitter at Bucnover, TikTok at the Bucnover, and on YouTube, The Bucnover, to follow along with your buccos all year long.